So unit number 2, environment impact in irrigation development and watershed. So the environmental impacts of irrigation relate to the changes in quantity and quality of soil and water as a result of irrigation and the effects of natural and social conditions in river basins and downstream of an irrigation scheme. The impacts stem from the altered hydrological condition caused by the installation and operation of the irrigation scheme. The irrigation that grows crops, especially in dry countries, can also be responsible for taxing aquifers beyond their capacities. Groundwater depletion is embedded in the international food trade, with countries exporting crops grown from overexploited aquifers and setting up potential future food crises if the aquifers run dry. Main problems resulting in the non-sustainability of irrigation and drainage schemes and appropriate mitigation measures. Let us see what is the definition of watershed. Watershed defined as any surface area from which runoff resulting from rainfall is collected and drained through a single point. Watershed has an area of land that contains a common set of streams and river. Then next let us see the watershed irrigation development. So conservation, regulation and the judicious use of water to the irrigation within a watershed. Example, dams, canals, diverting structures. So in this diverting structure, we have different components through which the water is diverted to the different branches, distribution system, and finally it will be reached into the agricultural field. Okay. So irrigation development leads to applying controlled amount of water to field at needed intervals. When rainfall is not sufficient, but its affect environment as well. Irrigation relate to change in quantity and quality of water and soil. So the direct impact of irrigation development. So what are the direct effects? Let us see that. The impact in irrigation development. So the first one is reduction in downstream river flow. Increase evaporation in irrigated area. Irrigation has effect of increase in moisture in air and it delivers rain to direct downwind areas. Finally, water quality changes from irrigation field. So let us see one by one. So what is the direction? What mean by the direction in downstream river flow? So first let us see the reduction in downstream river flow. So the reduced downstream river flow may cause reduced downstream flooding, disappearance of ecologically and economically important of wetlands or flood forests, then reduced availability of industrial, municipal, household drinking water, then reduced shipping routes. Actually, you see that water withdrawal poses a serious threat to the Gangetic Plain in India. In India, barrages control all of the tributaries of Ganges and divert truly 60% of river flow irrigation. Then you see the reduced fishing opportunities. The Indus River in Pakistan faces scarcity due to the extraction of water for agriculture. Then the Indus is inhabited by 25 amphibian species species and a fish species, of which 22 are found nowhere else in India. So like that, these are all the some of the affected in the reduced river flow. Then fish populations, the main source of protein and overall life support systems for many communities, are also being threatened. So these are all due to the reduction in downstream river flow. Then reduced discharge into the sea. So because of the reduction in downstream river flow, what happened? The discharge which finally finally diluted into sea. So that thing is also being reduced. So what are the impacts? What are the impacts due to this reduced discharge into the sea? Let us see that one. So this reduced discharge into the sea, which may have various consequences like coastal erosion, example in Ghana, and saltwater intrusion in deltas and estuaries in Egypt's Sea Aswan Dam. Then current water withdrawal from the river Nile for irrigation is so high that despite its size, in dry periods the river does not reach the sea. Then the RLC has suffered an environmental catastrophe due to the interception of river water for irrigation purposes. Yes, so these are all the impacts due to reduced discharge into the sea. Okay. So then the next thing that we are going to see, a reduced downstream river water quality. Yes, so let us see some of the direct impact of irrigation development, in which the first thing we have seen reduction in downstream river flow. Then next thing, let us see the water quality changes from irrigated field or the reduced downstream river water quality. So in this case, it may lead to reduced public health. Polluted river water entering the sea may adversely affect the ecology along the seashore. The natural buildup of sedimentation can reduce downstream river flow due to the installation of irrigation systems. Sedimentation is an essential part of the ecosystem that requires the natural flux of the river flow. So this natural cycle of sediment dispersion replenishes the nutrients in the soil that will in turn determine the livelihood of the plants and animals that rely on the sediments carried downstream. Okay. And let us see some of the main problems resulting in the non-sustainability of irrigation and drainage scheme and the appropriate mitigation measures. So let us take let us take let us I just discuss what are the problems causes uh, in the non-sustainability of irrigation and drainage schemes, and also along with I would like to mention also along with the mitigation measures for that case. For example, the first one is degradation of irrigated land. So in which we can take the mitigation measures as improve the irrigation and development, that is IND operation, to match demand both how much and when. The next thing, the problem is salination. So the mitigation measures may be of the provide drainage including disposal of water to evaporation ponds or the sea if quality of river flow adversely affected by drainage water. Then the problem is alkalination. The mitigation measures is maintain channels to prevent seepage and reduce inefficiencies resulting from siltation and weeds. Allow for access to channel for maintenance in design. Next, waterlogging problem. Provide water for leaching as a specific operation. Then soil acidification. Set up or adjust the mitigation measure is set up or adjust irrigation management infrastructure to ensure sufficient income to maintain both the irrigation and the drainage system. Then analyze soils and monitor changes so that the potential problem can be managed. Next, the problem is reduced socio-economic conditions. Mitigation is manage irrigation and development, that is IND, to prevent disease spread. Then problem is increased incidence of water related disease. Mitigation is to educate about causes of disease. Then problem is increased inequity. Then the mitigation is improve health facilities. Yes, so these are all some of the problems that we faced in the impact of irrigation development and how it will be mitigated. So that thing we have seen. So in this problem, the major is ecological degradation. The mitigation, the define ecological requirements. Then reduced big diversity in projected area. So to control this thing, we have to operate dams to suit downstream requirements and encourage wildlife around reservoirs. Okay. Then the problem is groundwater depletion. In this, define and enforce abstraction regulation. Then dry drinking and irrigation wells. So we have to monitor the groundwater levels. Yes, so these are all some impacts in the irrigation development. So there are some indirect impact of irrigation development. So that thing we have also seen: soil salination, ecological damage, disappearance of species, insufficient environment flow in streams, waterlogging in forest area, in dam site relates to habitat loss of wildlife, insufficient water supplies for domestic and other uses, increase in groundwater damage to buildings and deep-rooted trees. So we have these all things we have discussed, and what are the mitigation measures that we have to take. That thing also we have discussed. Yes. Yes. So mitigate, yes. So I would like to I would like to say the same mitigation measures for sustainability again for you. The first one is monitoring poor water quality. So the mitigation measure is for monitoring and control the source of pollution to the water and enforce written water quality levels. Then ecological degradation. So it has to be understand the local ecological functions and manage the water to sustain the ecology. Socio-economic disputes. Equitable distribution of irrigation water to the upper end to tail end farmers. Then waterlogging. So this is socio-economic disputes was it is a major issues in nowadays, but it is being solved by the government. They are taking different policies to measures to mitigate these all things. Okay. Then waterlogging provide water for leaching to groundwater as specific operation. So these are all some of the mitigation measures for sustainability irrigation development. Yes. With this I conclude this particular chapter, that is irrigation impact assessment. Next let us see